Thanks guys for joining us on Weekly Weapons Brief, brought to you by Battlefield Vegas. My name's Rick, and today we brought on Livio. He's one of our RSOs, and we brought him on so we could talk about some of the common misconceptions that we have about our weapons. And for that, I turn that over to him.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me on today, man.
No problem, man. Good to have you.
All right, guys. So one of the most common misconceptions that we see here at Battlefield Vegas, especially for first-time shooters and inexperienced shooters, is that the smaller handgun is easier to shoot than the scary submachine gun. The submachine gun is actually easier to shoot, and I'm going to explain to you a couple reasons why. First is the weight versus recoil. Whenever a round goes off, when that bullet goes off, the energy from that round has to affect the weight of the gun before it can affect you. So the lighter the gun, the less it takes away from that round going off, the more recoil that you feel. Whereas the heavier the gun, obviously, it absorbs more of that energy before it affects you and you feel less recoil. The other reason is for stability. When you're handling a handgun, you're holding it away from your body, and you have 3 angles of motion that can be affected with all 3 joints that are out away from you here. When you're firing, you also, like we talked about a second ago, with more recoil, you have a lot more movement, less stability, and less accuracy. When you're firing a submachine gun with the same caliber, which these are both the same, these fire the same rounds, you have a heavier gun, you're keeping it tight against yourself, you only have 1 range of motion that can be affected. With less recoil, you have more stability and more accuracy. It's a lot more fun to shoot for people, especially if you're nervous and you don't have that much experience. You want to get started on something easy.
Right on, man. Thanks. What about like the idea that people have behind putting their face behind the stock?
Right. So when you put the gun down, you were holding that away from your face. So that seems like it's a little bit more comfortable to keep something away from you. So when somebody thinks about putting their face on the gun, it's a little intimidating. When actually, whether it's a sub gun or a high caliber rifle, whenever you're firing off those rounds, the energy comes straight back into you. It's not going to come, the rifle has no reason to come up at your face. So not only are you more stable placing your cheek on the weapon, you're also going to have the more accuracy like we spoke about before, and it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually safer to be tighter against the weapon with your cheek. You're not going to feel it in your face, you're going to feel it in your shoulder.
Right on, man. Thanks.
Absolutely, brother.
So there you have it, guys. I hope that was informative for you. And if you like it or you have questions that we can possibly answer in future episodes, please leave a comment or a question below. Again, want to thank Livio for coming out here.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
That was great, man. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.